episode.
2, 1. And we are now live today, Jax. We have arrived. Today's game is Space Marine 2 that's been put in the background. So, yeah, that's a fun thing.
I'm playing Ninja Turtles for his revenge.
Exactly. Well, I couldn't get it to work, so I couldn't play it. That was our original plan of the game for the day, was Shredder's Revenge, but even though it's not actually a game, if I remember correctly, that's that's Secret of the Ooze I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Shredder's Revenge is probably it's been out for a while now. It's the sequel to the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game.
Yeah, I was thinking of the Secret of the Ooze film. Well, we got Rocky and Thingy introduced. Rocky Bebop and Rocksteady introduced in the weird.
Razor.
Oh, it was Razor, wasn't it?
Razor and Toka.
Yeah, not the actual original.
Yes.
I love.
No, there was many reasons. Once again, it was down to copyright. There were characters that were copyrighted via they were made. And I can't remember if they were the ones that were made specifically for the cartoon that were popular, or they were because they were comic books. No, because the films were adaptations of the comic books.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, say they couldn't have used Rocksteady and Bebop because they were cartoons. That was why.
By the way, I will say this game. My favourite thing about this game is this captain here is Scottish, and I love it. He's a Scotsman.
Talking about which, I'm now fighting Rocksteady.
It's like you're fighting Rocksteady, not Bebop. Or is he a late?
Actually, it's Bebop. No, it's Bebop. I'm fighting Bebop. You're actually right.
There's a dead zone around the relay. Something's interfering with our Vox comms. We have to get inside. Emperor, save me. I've tried.
Absolutely getting pounded.
Now the Tyranids have
Oh, I just got
attack on our
ruffled
defenses.
there. Oh, dude.
We're pulling back to the fortress. We'll make our final stand there. Battlefield projection. Magnify C3.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, because we're playing video games, it might seem to be a good idea to actually talk about them.
It's there.
We
kill it. We break the synaptic.
So, is there any particular ones you would like to discuss?
A hive tyrant, a worthy adversary. And if you're wrong, if it's not there, I cannot afford.
She's gone.
Oh no.
Two squads.
She's left us.
You beat her.
Find whoever is jamming us and get the message inside the relay.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
you're currently playing Space Marine, which is pretty new, isn't it? It's only just over a week old.
well, it only came out Monday.
Yeah, there we go.
Came out
Not
Monday
even a
this
week.
week. I got it about Tuesday during our usual D&D session. Which was
Oh, I see. That's why you were downloading it then.
Yes. As I said, as our usual D&D session this week was, instead of D&D, we were playing Warhammer Wrath and Glory.
We was.
Yes, so we were playing a Warhammer 40,000 tabletop RPG this week. That was a very fun session. Of opening a door and everyone ran away from a horrible, disgusting spider-looking chaos spawn that's terrified the crap out of the party. Including one of them dropping their gun and running.
No, they got their sword, if you remember correctly. That's why they couldn't do any melee attack.
No, they dropped their... Yeah, they dropped their knight. No, they dropped their rifle, remember? They dropped the rifle, and when they got frightened by it the first time and had to sneak back towards the door and have their eyes closed to pick it up. Then we had the Acolyte who, when they started running, immediately shot at one of their teammates.
Yep. But I did... That was because of a bad roll, but... I think I played it off very well because he was my subordinate that ran up in front of me. So I called him a traitor and said that's why I was chasing him. Not because of my own fear. So I played it very true to the character.
Yes, the party has been kidnapped by Traz in the Infinite and Oric the Diviner. who may or may not have a bet on which one of you survives.
It didn't help that the game started, well, the scenario started with two humans, or a human and a subhuman, and two Xeno bastards, one of which being a massive orc,
The orc.
that decided
I want your sword.
to pick me up by the neck.
Yeah, that was an interesting. It was a very funny first reaction because let's say everyone had been kidnapped. Everyone had just been kidnapped by a. Well, I say kidnapped. Reality is all of you have been sat in a stasis vault for the last probably couple of 100 years.
Yeah.
You just kind of been. I'll wager some of my collection on this thing. On this.
But it was quite funny because I don't know how these characters work. I'm learning as I'm playing. We found out these things like games and things. So I've now so far managed to bribe them to do shit by giving them room.
The room
in the place that we're fighting.
Yes, it's quite funny. Every time they enter a room, every time they do something in a room, it's look, you now own this room. Because the acolyte understands that, because as we've got two players in the party that know the 40k universe. They both played 40k. They know the universe, and then we have two players in our group that have never experienced it, which is quite interesting for them to be like in this being put into this game, because it's quite fun to because you two are like you and our friend Loki is like learning the game as you play it.
Lieutenant, the squad is ready. We are yours to
So yeah, talking about learning the game, as I was mentioning before, I watched this video, and I found this thing so horrifying.
You didn't look at the demon cut.
I
Didn't
really,
look at the blood, did you?
I really, 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 really want you to somehow put this into one of your campaigns, just so we can once again have Loki go, what the fuck?
Oh, what is it?
Oh, you can correct me if I'm wrong. There's these things called coffin bearers that when you want to travel through space using a warp drive in this game, you actually travel through hell.
Oh, yep, you
But
travel through hell.
You have to travel through hell, but you have to dump a shitload of incredibly radioactive material into the thing, the warp core. So there are these people on the ship, called coffin bearers, that have massive lead-lined coffins strapped to their back, and they march straight to the core, in which they then dump all of the shit in the coffin by hand into the core, and basically hit themselves and the coffin into the core, because on the way there they're so irradiated their flesh is falling off their body.
Yep. Welcome to a universe where human life is absolute. So, for a good RPG that to showcase how thingy Imperial ships are, like Rogue Trader ships are, right? Mm-hmm. How big Imperial a ship is. So this ship I'm on here is a battle barge. So if it's anything like the ship in Rogue Trader, which is a Rogue Trader ship, which are smaller than battle barges, yeah. That Rogue Trader ships straight up have families living on them, like who've only ever grown up on that ship. Their whole life is growing up doing the same job their parents did, with no choice. That is their job. They are just there to do the day-to-day parts of that ship. That's all they do. They just run the stuff in the background, and they're kept in check by basically by a military police force, essentially, of enforcers that keep them in check and will beat people to death for stepping out of line.
Well, like I say, I can understand many things in games, but like I really found when the guy was telling that story, I was showing the imagery. I was like, man, that's horrifying.
Yep.
And I want you to put that in a game, so now Loki gets to hear how horrifying that is.
Yeah.
And oh man, there's so much. I could write a story around that for us, man.
Well, for example, the scale of this universe, I'm in one of the hangar bays of this ship, Jax.
Yeah.
I don't even think Star Wars has hangar bays this big. Hey, look! That's the Thunderhawk. That's a very big ship. Take into account, I am a super soldier that is 9. Look at this hand railing, Jack. This hand railing is designed for a normal human. Look at where it comes up to on me.
I can tell you now, I have a fleet carrier bigger than that.
There. Because look at the servitor. That isn't even a normal human, but look at the servitor. That's about 5, like your average height person.
Yeah.
They're not that. I am a 9-foot tall supergiant. I might say 9 foot because Primaris means about 8 foot outside their armor, 9 foot in their armor. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What does this mean? Oh, it wants me to play the operations missions, which I don't want to play because that involves playing with multiplayer. I am going to go play the campaign mission because that's the easy one to play for me. But
yeah, so in just so to point out what I was saying, there was a game called Elite Dangerous, and in it you got fleet carriers. Well, in that you got it had at least 15. No, it has 16 landing pads.
yeah,
But it can. So here's the thing: it can hold
yeah,
15. Well, it can hold up to I think 60 ships of varying sizes, but the really large ones. But here's the thing: it can hold 60 ships per universe, and it can fleet carrier exist in multiple universes. And then when it travels through all those universes at once. Because of how the game works.
yeah.
So technically you can hold 60 times infinity number of ships.
Oh yeah.
So, in the game.
Us facing the Hive Tyrant. Talassa can handle it. They have 3 men. We should be with them, but you have us playing
I
courier.
travelled that a bit closer as well, man. But yeah, so that was a great game. Was a great game. Isn't anymore, unfortunately.
Is that message?
Oh yeah. I've got to say, it does look like a beautiful game. I mean, I've not played many of the Warhammer games, video games. I did play Vermintide 1 and 2.
I love Vermintide. I love Darktide. Darktide's pretty good. Darktide is a really good introduction. The thing I'll say both this game and Darktide do right is that the setting, the world that you are experiencing while like playing it, they both get correct.
I would die for these colors. Then why?
Are basically really good at are really good at like immersing in this world and giving you like the story of this world, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They are games that will like Darktide's a really good game. I would recommend to anyone playing. It's not the best because unlike Vermintide 2, it's not had like 4 or 5 years. I think it is now of updates and stuff. Like a lot of people forget that Vermintide 2 when it came out was shit. I played Vermintide 2 at launch. It was shit. Look, there you go, normal guardsmen. This will show you how reverent for Space Marines they are. By the way, we are the Emperor's Angels. They're literally they bow before a Space Marine.
I can definitely attest that because when I was playing Vermintide 2 on day of release, because I actually quite enjoyed the first one, but I actually got it day of release. There was a point where you came up the first level. You came up to basically these gates of a massive tower,
Yeah.
and you were meant to fight off a wave of these creatures until the door opened. I shit you not, I fought for hours like it was the end of Halo Reach, only to find out that at this moment in time, the game glitched for some people and the door wouldn't open.
Yeah. So to give you an example of a little bit of lore in this universe, by the way, Jack. You see this tank here?
Yes.
That is a Baneblade. At the height of humanity's technology, before the dark age of technology and during the dark, the fall of humanity, when humanity fell and the emperor, the Primarchs were all scattered before the heresy and stuff. Right? This was a main battle tank.
Okay.
That
And
one,
then I guess Space Marines came about.
no, this is the dark age of technology is like humanity was at its peak, where they could kill if Space Marines existed. Space Marines would not be necessary at that point. Humans were it's based when humanity was like at its most advanced, because humanity in the 41st millennium was actually fallen. But this was a main battle tank. This was not a. This thing here wasn't like the support tank or anything. It wasn't the. This is just a once in like thing. This is the tank we mass produce when we need to beat someone to submission. It's a tank with 11 barrels. There are 11 guns on that thing.
Nice.
It's now considered rare to see them because humanity's fallen so far. They have basically lost. They've had to recover most of their technology, and stuff like them become like it's only one Forge World can build them properly. Most of the Forge Worlds build knockoff versions of them, which have like lower grade equipment, if that makes sense.
Okay.
This is a Hydra. This is an anti-air turret, an anti-air tank. You can tell what it's inspired by, if you're a World War II enthusiast. That's a dead
Bit
turret.
chunky.
Oh, there's a convoy of vehicles.
There was another game I played. It was on the PlayStation 2.
Do you see what I mean by like world building though? That is a
I
Manticore.
know. I mean,
There's
it's
a Manticore.
spectacular.
Manticore, Chimera.
Understood. Damocles out.
That's like that's a little tech priest engines here. It's like the world building of this game is brilliant. It's one of those things like as someone who loves this universe, I appreciate the little details, like the fine details of this world are really nice to see. Because
I always appreciate good world building because it's very hard to do and easy to neglect.
it's especially good when fans are if you've got a franchise like this. As I admit, I dislike a lot of. I get pissed off at most of the fans of the 40k. 40k is the thing that I love the lore of. I used to play the games. I don't play the game. I don't play the tabletop as much anymore because the current edition I don't like, and generally I find some of the people that play it just to be insufferable. I just can't stand them.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that's my entire opinion, but the 41st Millennium is one of those universes that is amazing, and I've played this universe like since I was a little kid. But like, it's a multi-melter, combat knife, power sword, bullet, heavy weapon.
I've got to say though, if my first impression of D&D players would have stuck, I definitely wouldn't have played it ever again. So I actually did have what could possibly be the worst ETS moment of meeting a D&D group. So I was really fascinated, wanted to play D&D for a while. I'd read a lot about it, and it's mostly because, as a self-obsessed geek and archivist for some of this stuff, I really should know more about D&D, so I wanted to learn, and I went on to a thing called Craigslist, that I think is still around, but only in the fact that you will probably get murdered on Craigslist. No, it wasn't Craigslist, I'm lying, it was its counterparty knockoff, Gumtree.
Oh, the one that's basically the British equivalent of Craigslist.
Yeah, basically you were definitely going to get murdered on there. Anywho, that in mind, I looked up D&D, and there was a D&D group on there looking for players, and weirdly enough, in a place really local to me, a shop that I know. I didn't know.
I'm
I
firing
knew where
a
it was.
tank rifle in this game to kill basically the basic enemies in this game. No, these are basic enemies. These things are like the equivalent of guardsmen. They're basically, except that thing. This thing can go burn in a hole right now.
You can fuck right off. But yeah, no. So, like I say, it was a shop that I know of, but it was a. So this shop was a. Oh man, I forgot the word. What were they called now? You know where you went to go to book holidays? What were they called? Travel agent. It's a travel agent. Bloody hell. They're so not around anymore or needed. It's unbelievable.
I know.
So yeah, it
After the
was a
travel
travel agent. But like, here's the thing. I found out later on about the business. They did basically what we do now. So he owned a shop because he had a shop. He just didn't need it anymore. Now you just rung him up or went on his website and he used his shop for it. More than anything else. But what he also used it for was D&D.
Yeah.
So I finally got. So not only did I get to finally play D&D, I was getting to see actually inside the stuff I've known about for years. I never knew what the fuck was going on in there because it just had posters of holiday shit and you never saw inside. I turned up as me
Yeah.
after talking to someone on Craigslist. The door was opened and the guy was dressed as a wizard. Everyone was in costume. No one told me this. No one told me this. No one told me that from the moment you walk in the door, everyone's in character. And these people had no intention whatsoever in helping me learn how to play the game
Oh, they were the.
or giving me
They were the. They were
any
basically.
kind of keeping.
Yeah, gatekeeping.
In the,
It happens in this. It happens in 40k, and the gatekeepers think they're winning, but they're not. The funny thing is gatekeepers. The only thing they succeed in doing is stopping people playing with them. People are still going to play the hobby and still get into the hobby, even though they don't want them to. You know what I mean? They're just gonna.
like, it was so weird, and I held out for like as long as I could. It was at one point when, and I stayed for the whole session, I will say, but I was never going back again. But like my ability to be polite in a weird situation ended around about the time when we was all taking a break, and I actually thought, oh, this would be my moment to ask questions and and just talk to people. And I can't remember what the guy's name was, but I was like, oh hi, I'm over. How are you? And, I'm okay. So what's your name then? He's like, oh, it's the Brave. But yeah, no, I get that. Yeah. But what's your oh no, it's just going to be Horace, is it? Horace the Brave. Okay. And then the only time he broke character was to say, you do realise that you haven't prepared at all properly for this, and you're kind of slowing everyone down. Oh, thanks.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. This is my first D&D session. Like, no wonder I haven't prepared. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, you moron.
Reports confirm the lieutenant's assessment.
Thing is, I like a good prep, and I would have done a lot more prep if the person that had put up the invite for it had said, because I mentioned I don't know what I'm doing, and he said, fine, turn up and sort it all out. So I wasn't given any indication that I could prep for shit.
No.
But yeah, the second time I played was with my ex-girlfriend's brother's group for a little bit, but they did not like any of my ideas.
And then eventually you found the group that we met in.
Well, because kind of, but like, weirdly enough, so one of the things that happened is something we kind of actually just did the other day, in our D&D game. So there's a series of books, and with two series of books, and I can't remember which one this particular thing comes from, but so it doesn't matter. I'll find out until later on. But it's about people that go into D&D world accidentally, or a D&D world accidentally.
Oh, like the sort of thing that the Japanese sort of isekai thing.
Yeah.
Or like the old D&D
Monica.
cartoon. Or do you remember that one?
Yes, I do. But one of them is called Spell, Swords and Sorcery, and the other one is called Critical Failures. One's by Drew Hayes, one's by Robert Bevan. Both of them very different but very funny. I absolutely love them. But in this in particular, what happened was they were stuck up a tower. But they had a bag of holding and someone that had boots of spider climb basically, and someone that had featherfall. So they went, fuck it, everyone get in the bag. We throw the bag out the window, and one that can walk down the wall, one that can fall, and we'll get people out of the bag later on. Oh, that's how they got out of this sticky situation. And we was playing the game, and we had a very similar situation, and I was like, you know what we could do? We could put everyone in the bag of holding, throw the bag of holding out the bag, thing, and then I can't remember what someone had to fly, and the other person was just fly down. All right, I put them in to fly down, and I went, all right, we'll do that. Well, you know, they were flying down with the bag of holding. That's what they were doing. We could do that, and then the DM had someone shoot the person with the bag. They lost concentration on flight or whatever thing happened. They fell to their death once they had death. And the story that then got told later on was many years later, someone found a bag in a bush, and when they opened it, it was full of corpses. Now, I don't know how you feel about it, but I can tell you the rest of the party that agreed that this was a great idea. For some reason, after only knowing me for a couple of weeks, didn't really fancy me coming back to a game.
They cause this themselves. Actions have consequences. I think even you know, I'm like, I was like, when you were suggesting if you all get in this bag of why don't we just all go in the bag of holding? I'm like, this is going to end.
Well, it was only me. I was taking the. We'd get split up.
Yeah, you like put one of us in the bag of holding. Like,
but I did find it funny, the whole thing about not knowing that I was in, remembering I was in there until my head popped out. Like, hello.
Fuck. Do that. Hello,
So
Jackie.
for listeners, something that's quite funny about my character is actually my character is quite intelligent by the way I rolled it, but by a series of events that I can't quite remember,
you pissed me off.
I was punished into making my character.
It was because you pissed me off by making me laugh so much that I started having a coughing fit.
That was it.
Because I was like, stop making me laugh. So I went, no, you can be fucking Baldric. Your character has to sound like Baldric for the rest of the campaign.
My character has to act like Baldric. So this was fine. I knew how to play this quite well, but a friend of ours, Loki, he's American, does not know what the fuck Blackadder is or Baldric, so I've made him Blackadder. And it actually weirdly makes sense in the dynamic of our group as well.
Yes, because our beholder member of the party is essentially Lord Melchard.
He's always he's melted. Yeah, he's melted.
It's funny because basically the other one is essentially ironically, Josh's character is basically George. I've realised.
Oh shit!
You have made the Blackadder party inadvertently.
Oh, it's not George. It's Bob.
Which one's Bob again?
Bob's the woman that always just comes in as a dude.
Oh yes. Thank you, Bob.
Bob. But yeah, so I've been playing these fun little things with Loki, and some of the stories are just straight Baldic stories, about living in the gutter and being not really having a name until he was 9, which he thought his name was Shut Up or Go Away. And every time I come out of one of these, Loki's like, oh shit.
So it's like, oh shit, your life is so sad. It's like, yeah. I do love that we made the joke of also, how does Baldric sound when they're over the link? And I went, they actually sound like they're actual intelligence. It's just that for some reason they can't articulate things properly.
Well, because that fascinates. So that was another great thing. So in our D&D campaign, we have a thing called the link, in which the weapons that we have allow us to communicate with each other, basically through thought.
Yeah, because we're doing a sort of sci-fi campaign. To be fair.
So I assumed, or at least played it, that the being Baldric thing was actually more like a curse, because my character is a cleric, so they have a god-based thing. The DM is the closest thing to the god we have, so I took it as that was my penance for using my powers, is that outwardly now I'm completely dim. Or at least unfortunately slow. So when we go to talk through the link, I was like, well, surely then it could be my brain that is my inner monologue is the voice that you're going to hear. So when I just started going, ooh, is this connection because of some sort of magic or because of an innate action of the ability? And it's like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, it's like the complete different. It's also because your inner voice is how your character thinks they sound to everyone else.
Yeah.
I could all I'm imagining is that your god's penance for you somehow at one point in your past misusing your powers is basically you are now sound like an idiot to everyone else except yourself. To you sound perfectly reasonable and like exactly the same way you speak in your mind. It's just to anyone else that hears you, it's what the fuck is this idiot saying? It's basically the perfect curse for someone who's actually. I'm super intelligent. I'm no better than everyone. My god is perfect, and my god would never punish me. Proceeds to abuse powers, gets punished with a curse.
Yeah.
They don't realise they have.
I've got to say though, I mean, using me as in many ways, you have created some really great what the fuck moments.
Oh yeah.
In this campaign, and like. And it always, for me, it's been my favourite. It's always been Kai's reaction, Loki's reaction to every single one, and Kai's reaction, but Loki's actual reaction to each one of these is like, what the fuck?
I think I will genuinely say I think I enjoyed. I think it was the most on-brand reaction of Kai's reaction during that. During the not last session, the session before like like the last actual D&D session of
the
big bad decides that he's going to honor his deal. He's challenged Kai to a duel and will literally let the rest of them live and let their world live if Kai wins. And yields during the duel because rightfully so. Kai has won. He's willing to yield. To which Kai refuses to give up because of a few seconds prior he murdered two NPCs that were like the two people that Kai genuinely trusts.
Yeah.
And stuff, and also for all the shit that he's done throughout the entire campaign to them, such as all of the friends that they have inadvertently lost, ironically, not because of the big bad. I have never killed a member of the party, and I can stand by this.
That is one thing I can definitely attest to. So far in this campaign, the DM has not managed to kill a single member of our party.
But you've lost
our
5
party
people.
Have an incredibly high number of
casualties. Wonder why?
I can't say I take all the blame. I mean, to be fair, the last 2 were someone else's fault.
Oh yes. But as Kai's character proceeds to try and basically continues attacking the big BBEG at this point, who has rightfully yielded, and Kai has one more turn where they could choose to stop fighting, and they would have yielded and happily let them all live. Kai basically continues to wail on him, to which he turns round and just kills and just straight up nearly murders poor Loki's character Kai, and just. Well, actually, no, straight up, he did. I have killed one player. I did kill Kai. Kai did die in that fight.
Yeah, that's true. They're actually dead. They're not going to be.
No, they died. As I said to Loki at the end of the session, it was, your party's not the only one that can cast Revivify. Because they've already brought them back alive because they need them for something if you think about it.
Okay, cool. So we'll be seeing Kai again.
Well, possibly if Kai survives. What? Because it's going to tell you now. It's going to take you. Your character's probably going to have, depending on how you choose your choices during the next bit because I will say a week has passed since Kai's kidnapping in game because that's how long it takes you guys to re-prepare spells, because we are in our campaign using the sort of gritty realism rules for long rest and short rest, where a long rest is a week and a short rest is 8 hours, because in this world that they're in, magic isn't very it's very not unstable, but it's very much not connected to people. Like, it's really hard to connect magic to people.
Yeah.
So,
I remember now. Did I revivify those 2 guys?
You did. You revivified the two, but you can't. Your scrying spells are all you need to prepare them because you're a cleric, and it'll take you a week to reattune to the will of prayer and stuff to attune to them.
Yeah, I've got to get on that. Um,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah,
it's
it's been
yeah.
very.
At which point the BBG basically kills Kai, and because Kai is wearing an armor that is wearing a necklace and an armor piece that both go off when Kai dies, causing a massive explosion.
No, no, please. There is a great element of conversation between my character and Kai that involved this, and I'd love to get it into disorder. So when I first met Kai, my new character, Adric, when he first met Kai, um, a funny story about my name as well, but he put this
I had a
goal
Felbunker.
of the last two of my previous character and our other teammates have a character on the thing and poured out a drink, and I was like, and they were talking about the thing, so I was like, you killed your last two players, you killed all your team members. He was like, no, I wasn't responsible for all their deaths, just these last two. And so you've you've had two members of your party. Like, how many more? They're like, a lot.
A few.
Sure. No.
One of them got
That's
killed.
what I really-
One of them got killed by being used as a meat shield. One of them died. One of them died. Oh, one of them died because one of the other guys, the guy that we first had that used the other one as a meat shield, that then betrayed the party. Oh yeah, blew them up with an explosive necklace, a necklace of explosives.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was that was a whole beautiful situation. But yeah, it was so funny watching Kai get more and more annoyed. But yeah, and it was Kai getting more and more annoyed about the fact that they've been constantly told that they're the one killing their teammates.
Oh yes, it was also.
And then me still going. And me still going. Oh, I'll follow you then. I've had worse.
I did like at one point when having a discussion about what to do with someone, you were like, maybe we shouldn't have joined these two. We shouldn't help these two.
They technically killed everyone. Everyone dies around them. But yeah,
And then, as the big bad guy basically kicks the shit out of these people in this, it kicks the crap out of Kai and guts Kai through the stomach. As Kai explodes, basically, because their armor has like basically it explodes when they go down. So as their armor exploded when they went down, they're also wearing a necklace, the same necklace that killed a previous comrade. But because of the armor, they're immune to the explosive damage now. So when they went down, it explodes, but there are two enemies that basically bounce the explosion around and make it like it supercharge the explosion when hit with the same damage type. So the explosion just went
everywhere.
Yeah, and nearly killed the party again. That was fun. Immediately nearly kills the party.
Freaking hilarious. I mean, because what's even funnier is because that
and then
the
we have
very sorry.
We have after right as the smoke clears, we have the big bad that is now no longer like a flesh body, is literally a Terminator walking out of the the smoke.
Uh-huh.
And just picks up Kai's body and just goes, I'm taking this.
But the the thing that got me was how the character who used the box to kill us that ultimately killed us all.
Yes.
They were very sorry about it.
Oh yes.
And everyone was. Now here's the thing that I find very funny, and I did try and point this out, but I don't think anyone actually was paying attention. So just before all this had happened, the big bad had come up, moved up face to face with me, and I had so much bravado because they had attacked and they had moved and they had moved again and they'd done something else, and now they were there in front of me talking shit, telling me to surrender. And my character does not do surrender very well. They
Yes.
up fire. But I had calculated that it was now my turn to attack, and I was going to position the highest level fireball I could muster in range of doing them damage, not hitting me, and then I was going to sit there and go, fuck you, as the fire literally just burns centimeters away from my face, cooking the villain, but also unfortunately taking out the other two members of my party. I knew this. They didn't know this. It was going to be fun.
And then what
My
happened?
miscalculation was,
And it was like that.
One more
Is that me? Is it the meme that's? It was a calculated decision, but man, am I bad at math?
yeah, it really was. It turned out this character had one more attack, and they owned my ass. So that meant that I didn't kill the party. It meant the other person killed the party.
The scariest bit is if you'd have killed the party, there would be no one left. All of you would have died in that fight. Because the only reason that Kai survived that fight is because the weapon that did kill the party was an explosive weapon, meaning Kai was immune to the damage.
Yeah. Hold on. I know exactly what I was doing. I would rather have killed that thing and everyone else be an Uxie, with a possibility of surviving than me not doing that. And you've also remember my character was a necromancer, so in my head I'm just going to be waking them up in a minute and we'll go back on our merry way. Yes, there might be a slightly different dynamic.
Yeah. You'll have to do exactly what you say. Don't mind my 3 corpses following me around.
I mean, how fun would that be if, let's say, I did die and I was like, let's bring it back and just leave Kai in a cold body playing out every so often. I just have to say, you've got to do that now. And they've got to do that now. Until I forget to concentrate.
And then Kai just turns around and goes, you turned me into a zombie. Uh-oh.
At that point, I'd have starved the zombie, just eat him.
But yeah, it's one of those things.
I was trying to make a Walking Dead version of D&D, but no one else was having my fun.
Ah, crap, I got shot out of the sky. But yeah. But I will talk about something. Can we talk about a certain film that's just released a new trailer for it? And I am incredibly confused as to how the hell we got to this villain.
Okay, you carry on.
The Venom 3 trailer, they dropped a new trailer today. Or I think it was a couple of days ago or something. And I just watched it. The villain is Null.
Yep.
I'm like, what? Why is the villain a dude that honestly deserves a Thanos level fucking introduction? As someone who's read the storyline.
Thanos level introduction. You're right. No, you're 100% right. It's crazy, but I could see it happening.
I can see why. Sony trying to cash in on it, but I'm like, you've just put a really powerful villain in a movie that's not going to get you a lot. It's going to do well, but because it's a Venom film, and the Venom films have all done kind of well. Because the only ones I think they've done right. That is my opinion as a Marvel fan and someone who enjoys all the Spider-Man characters and stuff. It's the only one they've done right, and that's not even a joke.
I actually think there was rumour of talk a while ago that Disney was going to sue Sony over intellectual property damage. Because by law, by the contract, they have to put Marvel Studios symbol up for their films that they make because they're Marvel properties. Unfortunately, in the public eye, Marvel means Disney, doesn't mean Sony. So whenever they bring out a really bad film like Morbius with the Marvel logos all over it,
people keep thinking it's an MCU movie, but it's not.
Marvel, Disney actually do have damage to their stock price, and they're saying, "Well, wait a minute, that's not fair." But Venom, on the other hand, has done incredibly well. Spider-Man has done incredibly well.
Well, Spider-Man technically the current ones, other than the Miles Morales one, are Disney ones, which is quite nice, and it's quite happy to see him back.
They are Disney, Marvel,
with Sony. We know the Sony as well because Sony has to be involved.
Yeah. But these are all Sony properties. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, but I do wonder about some, because the cameos we saw in X-Men '97. If your little theory about that is right, that Marvel was testing the waters and seeing if Sony is going to try and defend them against it, putting these little cameos in.
Mhm.
Especially considering that it's a Marvel Sony property on the Spider-Man freshman year. You know, the new Spider-Man animated show we're getting for Peter Parker.
Mhm.
Also, there's so many clickbait articles trying to say that who Marvel have cast now for Spider-Man 4, and I'm like, they've not recast him for Spider-Man 4. This is for the animated series. Stop trying to clickbait people. You know what I mean?
Yep. And also, as I understand it, Marvel cannot recast Spider-Man. It has to stay as Tom Holland because that is the one they have a contract negotiation and preset with. So until Disney Marvel gets the license back, it's going to be Tom Holland all the way until they stop.
Yeah, and he's taking a break from like acting, isn't he? So it's like they're just waiting for.
From movie acting, he's on the stage now.
Yeah, which is fine. Like if people get complain about that, like, why is he taking a break? I'm like, dude, acting is actually a lot of work because you have to remember a lot of shit. Like it is not easy to memorize like shit and learn a lot of the stuff you have to do for acting. For acting.
But also, you've got to remember for the roles that he's been taking since being Spider-Man, as well as a number of other things before, have all involved him being very physical.
Yeah.
Especially the Spider-Man role, the superhero exercise regime is horrid. It's absolutely horrid, and he's had to do that for not only the Spider-Man film, but for Uncharted, and for I can't remember what the other big one was he did. And so yeah, I mean he has managed to do a few dramas and stuff, but even then, there are things where he's got to look peak, and it's horribly destructive to look at the physical form. So that alone, let alone the other pressures.
Yeah.
Getting an entire script learned about that it keeps getting changed every week up until the day that you're on set, and then they're still giving you changes.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. It's like people seem to it's because a lot of people have this think that actors don't do a lot of work and like because they do physically demanding jobs. But like, not just because something isn't physically demanding, like because some acting jobs aren't. Not all of them aren't, but some characters, some short films and stuff aren't physically demanding. But they are mentally draining for those people as well, which is the thing.
Yeah. Quite interesting because it also depends on what school of acting you come from, what philosophies you believe in. Because everyone knows about method acting, where you literally just in your real life you become that character.
The boss. Fuck you, Carnifex.
One person in particular, which is quite interesting. It's a great story, and I recommend anyone to watch this documentary, the Jim Carrey documentary about the making of Man on the Moon.
Jim Carrey's awesome.
Because it's very awesome, but so basically in this film he was actually playing a real life person. It was a biography film.
Yeah.
And he was playing a guy called Andy Kaufman. But if you actually watch any of the special features or even the actual documentary that Jim Carrey made many years later, he actually says that, I was not a method actor in any way, but there was one day I was sitting there just looking up at the stars, but I didn't really know what to do. And I've always said, today you're going to be, you're going to become Andy Kaufman. You're not getting much of a choice in it. And he says it's like a breakdown. And this is what method actors end up getting into, because they take on so much someone else's personality. It becomes a breakdown. You're not you anymore. And it's quite, and when you see all this footage from behind the scenes and stuff, it's very, very disturbing. And even like people that knew Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman's brother and his dad were there, as well as his daughter that only met him a few times, I believe.
Yeah.
They were all like, "This is creepy because we know Jim. This isn't Jim. He's weirdly Andy, and like it's not right." So yeah, I mean, acting can be literally if you're in that sort of thought, you get into that kind of experience.
Oh crap!
It can be psychologically damaging.
I can imagine it will be.
Munitions secured.
I can imagine.
I mean, look at what's his name? Christian Bale.
Mm-hmm.
The damage he puts his body through for a role. It's mental.
I'm sorry. Is that a second one?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Oh, that is not a second one. That is a third and a fourth one. Oh god, there are 3 of them. Oh fucking hell! They killed the Hive Tyrant. There was 3 carnifexes. That was not fun.
The Hive Tyrant was controlling these underlings via synaptic link. The turmoil you now see among the enemy can mean only one thing. The Hive
Yep,
Tyrant.
Hive
I mean, the other big story, the other one to remember is Tom Hanks in Castaway. So he had to go from being normal Tom Hanks that he was to being basically anorexic by the end of that film. And there's no way to fake it back then. There was no after effects. After all that time that he filmed and getting himself down to that, they were like, "Oh, by the way, we need to refilm some of the stuff from at the beginning, and some other bits and bobs, so we need to put all that weight back on."
Oh dear.
He ended up giving himself diabetes.
You know.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's the shit that some of the shit that they have to that some actors go through is horror. Is like thingy. I always wondered how Jackie Chan and used to do it because he's notorious for doing his own stunts. That's the thing with Jackie.
Yeah, and he has also broken every single bone in his body at least once.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't know who Jackie Chan is, other than
I love Jackie
his
Chan.
more modern film.
I know I've seen his
I've
seen some of his films, from when he was in China. His films from in China,
yeah.
Back in China, like his kung fu movies. He's
Yeah.
really good. A lot of people do not realize that dude is really good at like.
Drunken Master is possibly one of the earlier ones. Incredibly fun. He was from the Chinese circus, and a lot of the people he worked with were the people he worked with then and has brought through, as well as other graduates. He very rarely works with any other team when it comes to fighting and stunts.
Man,
Have
you seen the pyre?
Yeah, no, Drunken Master is one of the early ones. But Cop Story is the one a lot of people remember stunt-wise, because that's the one where he fights all the way through one bus, jumps out of the top window of the bus while they're moving to go through the top window of the second bus behind, and then jumps out the back again of the other bus. But at some point he misses, and basically just bangs into everything, breaks his leg. But then, that's when he breaks his neck. I think he breaks his leg when he.
Yeah, you were on about before about the horror of this universe. There you go. That dude is being used as a battery for this relay to send messages out. He's a psychic battery. He's
Really?
Yeah. The Inquisition. It's time.
That has to be better way.
No, it's how they communicate across long distances. Is astropathic relays and stuff they use for navigation, they use for communication. Astropaths are how they see through the warp, because you can't navigate the warp using a computer, and AI is a heresy. So they have to use, like, psychers.
I have a message from Marnius Calgar.
I cannot help you.
It's urgent.
In addition to the shadow cast in the warp by the Tyranids, demonic forces are now poised to attack anyone who opens their minds to the warp.
You would flee from your duty.
I would have you know.
It'd be fun if it all turned out in the end that all the humans are a biological neural net for a version of a AI that runs everything.
No, they worship the God Emperor of mankind. The most human that ever humaned. Born as
Surely
in
that's Brian
the
Blessed.
age of the cavemen, by the way.
That's Brian Blessed.
It's Brian Blessed! That's the only person I think could ever play the Emperor.
Must protest. The danger is too great.
Silence.
Surely. That is literally what you've just described.
Brian Blessed is the most human that could ever human. He is the best man. Nothing. I will never say anything bad about Brian Blessed. I love that man.
He has, he seems to just be happy with anyone and everyone, but he's come to Mount Everest, he's been to every single jungle and thing you can think of, desert you can think of. He was a boxer, he fought a polar bear. I mean, you can't argue this man, and he also fought alongside Flash Gordon with Hawkwind. Genius. He once had a boxing match with with the Dalai Lama. He had a boxing match with someone who's meant to be the most peaceful man on earth. I love him. And he's got a silence level of like 1 billion decibels. He starts off loud. But yeah, that's what I'm playing for.
Oh crap.
What did you do? How did you break it?
I didn't break nothing.
That's what I will say.
What is this? I do not know.
You wish to bring Golgai here that you may kill him. Heretic. Heretic. You will betray us as you betrayed them on Graia.
Lies.
Let's say an arcade game. This turns into itself.
Oh crap.
Pretty easy.
Is this the power stone by himself?
I mean, it's no fault actor. I just say that it's got absolutely right. Not quite sure I meant to fight like that.
Oh crap. Oh. The powers of the war overtaking. I like they're trying to kill Titus. Oh crap.
If you do,
Yeah. It's just the way of demons to lie and mislead us. Chaos! Welcome to hell. Hi, Imara. Thought as much. That would be the main bad guy. That's gonna. Oh, he's got a disc. He's got a floating disc of Zinj. Oh, I like this guy already. He's an exalted sorcerer. By the way, I own a lot of the models that I'm seeing. I was wondering when I'd meet the guy that was mentioned earlier. Fuck you. Fuck off, ghost. Weird jeans, still a ghost head. I have no. This is a interesting battle. Crack grenade. Okay, this is interesting. This is
I think it's that monkey just threw poop at the building.
crap. I have a chainsaw again. Why do I have a chainsaw, not a power sword? Why do I keep switching to this weapon?
Chainsaw's always wrong.
It is an awesome weapon, but I have a power sword. Ah, crap. Oh, this is annoying. This guy is not hard to beat, which makes me think I'm not going to kill him yet.
Either that or he's a tech level buff, and I don't think they do that.
He's the what?
He's a tech buff, but I don't think they do that.
Oh, this is first phase. Oh, the root one's going to kill me. Ah! I really am. I will admit one thing about this game: I suck at parrying. But yeah. So another thing I wanted to talk about, the thing that we talked about a bit earlier, but I wanted to save most of the discussion about it for, for today's episode.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about the failure of a certain game that some people are trying to say is failed because of a certain lovely buzzword they like to say constantly?
We can do. I mean, obviously, like I said, I don't. I mean, it's obviously bullshit. The reason it's failed is because of many reasons, which is not
because it was
the reason it's been about. Yeah. I think the complaints that you're seeing are not from actual real humans.
Oh no! You can see it's in a lot of it that you see are in, they're in gaming groups, talk about games and replies on gaming group, comment sections. It's just people going, yeah, it's clear that it's woke, and it's like this, it's like that. It's like no, it failed because the game was a bait and switch.
But like I said, loads of reasons it failed. One of the things that confuses me though, like I say, from everything I've thought from it, I don't know what anyone would consider it as any of it as woke. It was.
I'll tell you why. Because the characters had pronouns, and one of the characters had a pronoun which was they them instead of,
Oh.
That was why. And I believe the character that they them was a robot of all things, so it made kind of sense they don't have a he or she pronoun. They're a robot.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Which has been done before. This is like literally this is a nothing burger.
Oh no, it's like if you ever watched the Avatar: The Last Airbender. You remember the Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yeah.
Someone put a nice thing that actually made perfect sense. Because a lot of these shows that people go woke, the characters are written exactly the same way as certain characters from that show, such as Toph, our everyone's favourite blind, little blind crazy person that we all love, that wins most of her fights in that show. I'm gonna fuck off, Flamer. I need health. What if I go down again? I'm dead. Oh, I have my relic. I keep forgetting that. Fuck off, Zangors. You got a warp flamer? I'm gonna show you what happens when you piss me off. Whoop, nope.
Yeah.
Chainsaw.
Big problem was
It's a hero shooter.
came out.
It's a hero shooter. When in this oversaturated
hero
market,
shooter.
that's also going, hey guys, pay 40 quid to play me.
Now, yeah, but it's a hero shooter that's trying to establish itself with new heroes 5 years too late into the market. And there's a couple of
Armline.
good points.
You remember when you said? Remember when I said about maybe this is only his first form? Fuck me.
It was. There's a couple of good points made by both Stephanie Sterling and Moist Critical. One being that when a lot of these games with popular characters, and this is actually true of any real popular character you'll find, is who your favourite character is by their silhouette.
Yeah.
Not one of those characters in that game could be given, oh, I know who that is from the silhouette. Not one of them had personality, like the others. I think barely had any kind of speaking lines to show who or what they were within the game. And you don't get many speaking lines to be fair in a hero shooter, but you usually get enough to show the personality of the character. If you're not even getting that, bar a few oh yes.
But it's also, unlike they had these amazing cool story trailers and stuff for this game, and I will admit this, but I was like, oh, I was hyped for this game before it was revealed it was going to be a hero shooter, because it wasn't until Gamescom I even knew it was going to be a hero shooter.
Yeah.
Oh crap! This is gonna be me stuck in the air a minute. Guys, can you shoot this guy before I get murdered?
But yeah, so not a lot of people were happy. But here's the thing, and this is a couple of weird things that he's had this wonder of how bad this game was when released. Someone in an office somewhere must have gone, wait a minute. Because no one seems to be checking quality control with a lot of these live service games. They're just dumping them out there.
Yeah.
And from what it is that they're hoping to get around about 50,000 people that will play it regularly and put money into it. Because then that way it's enough to keep the service going, enough to bring in profit, a little bit of profit. And it's if they can keep soaking up them with extras.
Well, that's a little bit.
But like this only had like 22,000 players. And to the point where it became cheaper to refund everyone that bought it than it was just to keep the servers running.
Yeah.
So that shows how few people were on it. But what's worse is, and this is a lovely little number brought up by Stephanie Sterling, the number of people playing the game concurrently is less than the number of people that bothered to get a refund for what was it? One of the big new games that was really bad at launch, and you could get a refund for it. Cyberpunk for the PlayStation 4. More people went actually fought through PlayStation's refund process to get a refund than are actually still playing that game. And I just thought it was
Before it was taken offline.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's taken offline. You can't buy it. What was funny, there's a great video on TikTok or YouTube or whatever of someone finding a copy of Concord physical out in the wild for like $33, and they went to buy it, and of course the machine kept saying, no, you can't buy it, no, you can't buy it, and they were like, what? And then one person literally says in the video, is this a fake game? Is this like, are you playing a joke? And I was like, no, it's Concord, look it up, it's Concord. And they were like, I've never heard of it. This is the people in the shop selling the game.
Yeah.
Never heard of it. And one person went, I'll just take the money and stand it under a different game. And that's when someone actually decides to look up what might be going wrong. This game's been recalled. We can't sell it, it's been recalled. Oh shit. Because he didn't particularly want to play it, he wanted a physical copy for the collection, so that's going to be a rare one. If anyone cares in the future. That would be a very rare game.
But yeah, it's one of those things. It failed because, let's be honest, they marketed it as like the story-based thing. All the trailers initially were like, oh, it's going to be a story-based thing. When I first saw the first few trailers before the Gamescom trailer, the one this year, when the dev trailer at Gamescom, I think it was all of this bunch of heroes teamed up. They're like trying to pull off a heist or something, basically.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it was about. It seemed to be about. That's what it was like. It's kind of cool. They'd got themselves crashed somewhere because it was one of the, like, you know, they were having like this group of friends. Like, oh, great, we're gonna get to learn these guys, like, you know, backstories between each other. It's like, like a character-driven game where I'm playing as these characters. No, it's a hero shooter. And my instant from like those first trailers where I'm like, oh, seems like a cool world. I actually genuinely want to like learn about this world and everything. Went from yay to I don't give a shit anymore. It lost all of my like desire to play the game, and it was just straight up it was just that. Why is
It was the game you wanted.
No, I don't want another hero shooter. Like, I will admit, I'm going to play Marvel Rivals. It's a hero shooter, but I'm going to play it for one reason.
Because you get to play a hero you know and like.
Yeah, I can play as the game as Venom or as Spider-Man or as like Tony as Iron Man and stuff. I get to play as like Marvel characters, and it's free. It's not I have to buy the game. It's free to play. And they've already said that the costumes they're going to do is all multiversal versions of the characters. The fact that they can put the same character in twice and have them two separate versions, like, you know, because there's because they both of them play differently. I think Penny's in it as well. Penny Parker, you know, the one that was in Spider-Verse. With she's in everything at the moment. Okay, well,
He's one of the characters.
It's like it's like Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen that was in that wasn't that popular. Was in that film, and then it was, oh my god, Spider-Gwen.
Well, I mean, she was kind of popular in the. I know she was popular in the female cosplay circuit all the way from the beginning because it's basically a ballerina doing a card and bits of a hoodie, so you could walk around wearing nothing. That seems to be the. I mean, I do wear absolutely nothing, but as my cosplay, I wear a skin tight suit from a Power Ranger.
Bless me in that.
So I don't normally complain. Most costumes are absolutely awesome, and I think you definitely cosplay as whatever you want to do. It's your time to shine. But there are definitely a lot of people out there that, more recently, in the last 4 or 5 years, I've noticed it more seems to be a lot of people just going to conventions because they can seem to be where they can wear as little as possible in public without anyone actually being able to truly say, "Can you put on some clothes?"
Time to go.
Oh yeah.
I mean, in particular, I went to one convention. Now, the rule of thumb is wear a bodysuit. A skin like. Even if the character is only wearing very, very little, you wear a skin suit.
Like a skin-coloured bodysuit underneath like whatever they would normally wear, basically.
Yeah, because there was like there was one woman at a convention a few years ago. She went as comic book accurate Starfire, which meant she was basically in a thong and a string bra and a bright red wig.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially when you've got young kids and stuff, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
And even I was, and I'm not prudish at all. I think that's something you can definitely attest to. But even I was like, oh my.
Also.
Yeah.
Dreadnoughts.
I fear things.
Sorry, I'm just like looking at the amazing vehicles on the ground. Like a lot of people are just like, I love the detail in this.
I remember one of my cousins getting into cosplay many years ago.
I am a massive personal proponent to cosplay. Like, I will fully parrot the thing that a lot of cosplayers parrot, not parrot, like a lot of cosplayers, will state that
there's decency levels, but like, I remember
cosplay does not equal consent, if that makes sense.
Oh no,
I fully agree with everyone who goes cosplay does not equal consent, because
100%.
I hate people that do the whole ruin it for cosplayers.
Yeah. Oh no, there is Yeah. Unfortunately, this is something that has started to become a little bit. Once again, I've noticed this has become a lot more prevalent. With the fact that we're getting a lot more I would call civilians coming in. These are not people that are really comic book fans or
Yeah.
anything like that. They're fans of comic book movies. And the costumes you can now pick up quite cheap and go to one of these things. But when you go there, especially if you're in that kind of a person, they're going. These are the sort of people that will look at anime porn and
Oh, I
costume
mean,
porn and like.
what is
So
it?
yeah,
Is it Japan is it Japan or in America? There's somewhere that there is straight up a con that is all about,
I'm not clear.
there's a con that is straight up. Oh no, it was someone's pointing out the difference between Comic Con stuff in Japan and in America, where the Japanese ones have a lot more fucking hentai and shit, like just brazenly on display. Versus,
we have to get that there is a reason for that, and it comes down to cultural norms and.
Oh yeah, no, it's a fully cultural difference. It's where we're a lot more. Our culture, in all honesty, is not a lot more prudish because they have the whole set. They have mandatory censor everything in Japan. Censor the genitalia in Japan in their sort of industry, but it's more not exactly prudish because we're a lot less prudish. We're less prudish, but it's. Their culture is very different from ours, and it's one of those things that's. I always have to remind myself is that then it's not my culture; it's a different country, it's different culture to mine.
Yeah, well, they don't see. They don't equate things that are not real.
Yeah.
Being real, so it is it's an animation. It's not real.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Not harming anyone in that fact.
Yeah, they have a very different idea of that than we do.
But what is also interesting is weird enough, this has sort of changed more in modern times than it has done said in previous years. But the kind of things that are depicted in the taboo issues that are depicted in these animations and shows are actually less prevalently committed in real life.
Okay.
There isn't. It seems to be that there is an outlet for those sort of ideas.
Yeah, they have a lower rate of it.
Enacted.
It's like you know what the funny thing is when people try to say that this is something that I looked up and did a bit of research into myself, right? But people try to say that the world is unfortunately slightly getting more dangerous in some ways, but actually when you look at crime rates in more modern society are actually a lot lower than comparative to population size and stuff than they were just 30 years ago. It's just that the stuff that happens is more horrifying, is a bit more because it's not happening as much as people think it is. It's when it happens, it becomes this big thing that's a lot more. Is it shocking? Is the right word? If you get what I mean?
Yeah, but there's also the way media presents everything out as well.
Because media is a lot more sensational.
We are desensitized. Well, we get desensitized to one type of thing. So when another thing that is just as horrifying as all the other things happen, we almost make that the big horror of the moment, But we are sort of desensitized for the most part against it.
Oh yeah, it's true. We all have different we all have different sensibilities and stuff that would sense us. For me, I play video games because they're an outlet for relieving stress from work days. For example, I play D&D as a DM because I find it more stressful for me personally to be a player in D&D than it is to be the DM.
Especially thanks to our last DM.
Well, yeah. Exactly. Well, our last DM is an example of this because I prefer that. I prefer to be more I like being a bit more in control, if that makes sense, of things.
Yeah.
I also like being able to tell a story more. That's the other reason why probably. Like that, I just flew through a church in space. Because these ships are also, like, I've got straight out of the world, but like that ship has taken the chunk and there's just bodies floating around it, all around it, out on fire. You know what I mean? Just floating around it in space. And oh god, those are screamers. Those are terrifying. That's a screamer of Zinch. That's a Helldrake. Yeah, you want to know a horrifying thing, 40k? You know that thing, that flying bird thing that just flew past me?
Yeah.
So that bird thing that flew past me is called a
One of
Helldrake.
them is used to, and they used to fire the kitchen or something.
No. So that thing used to be a plane.
Okay, right, yeah.
The pilot inside that thing is fused into it.
Yeah.
And no longer that thing has become his body, but he is no longer in control. The demon that inhabits it is now in control, essentially.
Ah.
So the scream of a Helldrake isn't just the scream of the demon; it's actually the scream of the pilot in pain, as well. Part of its like whole state is that the pilot has become part of the beast. Over time, the beast has taken the form of, shaped the body into the giant flying dragon, basically.
Nice. Now, what do I need to do to be one of those?
Fall to chaos and be a chaos space marine, which your character is far too old to be one.
Oh.
Ah, look, I'm fighting chaos space. I'm fighting Zangors. I got a I have a Thunderhammer.
What kind of weird, cool things can my character become?
Well, you can become an interrogator and then an inquisitor eventually. Your tier 4 class is inquisitor. Oh no, being an inquisitor straight up is an inquisitor means you have the authority to go where the fuck you want, do what the fuck you want, beat up whoever the fuck you want, because no one's going to question you.
Yeah, and I kind of worked that out. That's why I wanted to be one. That's why I think we're going to have to get to a point where Loki's character gets put in his place a little bit better.
Bonk. Bonk.
I mean, when we come across some actual other humans, I might just order them to kick the shit out of him before having brought to my quarters to having apologised for harming the other people's fists.
I love the fact. By the way, these Marines are fighting, rude. Just so you know.
Yeah.
They are literally walking piles of dust.
Oh, okay.
So the tragic thing of the Thousand Suns is the Thousand Suns wouldn't have fallen to chaos if it wasn't for their own Primarchs. Primarchs sort of being a bit stupid, but. Well, their Primarch tried to warn during what is essentially called the Horus Heresy, which is basically the rebellion between the Marines when they rebelled against each other.
It's definitely the worst universe if everyone's being led by their own Primarch. I mean, the one in Elton was a shithole.
That was a good joke. I'm gonna go kill a Terminator now. By the way, that is tactical dreadnought armor. And I'm going to go hit it with the Thunderhammer, because that's the only way I can think of killing this thing. But yeah, the Thousand Suns essentially were affected with what's called the Flesh Change, where their chapter basically mutates, like, really badly. That's like their flaw. So, one of their sorcerers, to put it in, like, short-wise, was called Araman, who basically went, I think I found this spell that will protect us. Does the spell every single Thousand Sun that doesn't have like amazing psychic potential? Yeah, that's just like a low-level psyker. Got turned into dust and is now encased in their armor for all eternity.
Lovely.
Whereas all the ones with where the flesh change got worse for all the ones that had like overwhelming psychic potential, but their psychic powers got like 10 times stronger. Essentially.
I mean, you say that they're dust stuck in their suits for eternity. If someone took one of their helmets off and just blew.
Oh yeah. You can rip the helm off, but when they
That's right.
die, they basically just, I believe, they are just literally reforged back on the planet of sorcerers.
Oh, okay.
That is a living saint. That's Saint. I think that is a statue of Saint Celestine. Melter rifle, bolt sniper rifle, chainsword. I have a thunder hammer. I don't want the chainsword.
Get you.
Dude, I have a fucking hammer. I have to hammer in the point.
I still don't think you understand what a chainsaw does.
Cuts. Oh yeah.
It does. It does
Boink.
force in the chain.
Oh, by the way, you can kill the normal little humans in this game to show you how powerful a Space Marine is. You see the normal humans that these guys keep using to try and kill me with. Oh crap! Ow! That guy is gonna kill me. So I'm gonna kill this guy because he just nearly murdered me. See those guys over? Is the guys over there? You see those normal humans? I'm not even gonna like land on them or anything. I'm just gonna walk into them. You want to see how powerful Space Marine is?
Yeah.
I don't even hit them.
Yeah.
Because it's like being hit by a tank. That's why it's so scary.
Well, did you ever play, oh, what was that game called now? The one where you had all the mech armour. Everyone was in Iron Man armour.
Not sure.
One where you was fighting down Anthem.
Oh, I've had Anthem. And I actually enjoyed Anthem.
I loved Anthem. I was not unhappy with what I paid for that. I bought it day one.
Well, I got
Very
it as
happy
part
with
of for the old EA, EA Access thing. I got it as part of that.
Oh, okay. You got it right at the very end then of its popularity. Okay.
No, the old
never
one
not
because it
given
came out when they had the old one where you just got every one of their games for free.
Yeah.
Not
That
the
was-
new one.
that-
You got it on its launch day for free.
Oh, did you? I don't understand.
Oh yeah, the old EA Access was brilliant. All their games, no matter how new, you got them for free like day one.
Ah.
It's how I played Dead Space 3 originally because it was part of that. And then I bought Dead Space 3 because actually, genuinely, I will admit, I enjoyed Dead Space 3.
Yeah,
Not as good as the first
Yeah,
two.
I didn't like it.
But I
just didn't like the fact that to get to the higher end weaponry in the factory thing, like the really good stuff, you had to actually pay money to buy the cores. I thought that was a bit disgusting. That was
I've
it.
managed to get a high end weapon without paying anything. It's just
You got it.
but they did
Later on, they change it.
But they did make the grind to get the higher end stuff without paying fucking ridiculously hard. Here, have your staff back.
Because it was.
That's the only that's a living person. Because that one is a fucking sorcerer.
Destroy it. Yes, brother.
I don't know it. But yeah. Crush the eye. Zinch's whole shit is eyes.
The impact will destroy this whole area.
That's understandable. They are the gateway to the soul.
Well,
Sorcery. No doubt. But it will get us to our objective. It is probably a trap. Time is limited. We must take the risk.
There's a conflict behind there if I can get to it.
oh yeah, well Zinch is someone was the 4 Chaos Gods in like one word.
What is your status?
Zinch is the god of change, the changer of ways. Slanesh is the prince of excess. Nurgle is the god of decay, and Khorne is the god of blood.
Are you hearing this? Vox Constant. Ignore it.
That is all the Chaos Gods like what they're actually all basically about.
Hey! Razor! I'm fighting Razor!
How you find Razor now?
Yeah, I actually put him in the game.
Yeah, look, I
That
found
means
it.
Poco's going to come up in a minute.
Is that a plasma center? I already have one of them. I don't need that.
Oh no, Razor again.
Engaging process.
I love Fat Alice jump pack. My one thing that I've noticed with this game that I actually will admit I genuinely don't like. I'm a bit weird confused by it. So you know the jump pack I have in this. Jump pack I have right now. This is how it functions in single player. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is how it functions. That's also how it functions in PvP. Right. In PvE, it doesn't function like either of that. It functions like so I was looking there. Yeah. You have like a symbol there that when I press the button to use it, I would jump to that spot with the jump pack.
Ah.
It's really weird.
Yeah. I think that when they give you something, especially when the PvE is almost exactly the same as as single player, why change those elements? Just keep for free. You're not giving no other human is getting a terrible advantage.
No. I don't get what I get. Like the maps in the PvE section don't have any like areas where you have to jump everywhere, and there's only one person has a jump pack out of the squad. Because in the PvE section, it's 3 players, but no one can be the same, class. Everyone has to be a different class to each other. But like, so they couldn't do segments like this, but they could have had it like this, where you have like little bits where only the jump pack guy can get to. But if you're not a jump pack guy, like you can still get there, but there's like a longer route there. But the jump pack guy can get there, quicker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're awarding then like different players for picking different play styles. But it's like, it's just a weird change that I don't understand.
The traitors fall from their bastion.
I can't help it, man. It's interesting, but I can't help it.
I was a Terminator, that's why I'm getting shot by fucking missiles.
Sword of Atreus primed and locked in.
Target now.
Screw you, Terminator.
Data through telemetry systems. Numerous errors detected due to signal interference. Calculating trajectory.
Oh god, I got shot down while in the sky.
Well,
I was jumping in the sky to slam on someone and got shot down while in midair. That was kind of... See, stuff like that happens in these games, I actually like. I don't mind shit like that happening. Because there is one thing I like about this game, that the AI companions can fucking revive you. It's not like what most games do, you know what I mean? Where, you get downed and you just die. You know what I'm on about, don't you?
yeah.
Like most games,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
give you 2 AI, like 1 or 2 AI companions. Oh yeah, you've died. So
There was famously there was Daikatana with by the guy who created Doom, John Romero. So Daikatana was meant to be one of the most high-end artificially generated characters, characters with artificial intelligence, at least at that time. And he was meant to be making the pinnacle. And your 2 characters, Superfly Johnson, and I can't remember the other guy's name.
Superfly McJohnson, I can't remember the other guy. I don't remember the guy. I know who Superfly McJohnson was though.
Yeah, everyone remembers Superfly Johnson. Was the other guy like Kado or something stupid? But yeah, I do want these 2 characters were like they not only could look after themselves, they could look after you too. To the point where if any one of them went down, the game was over as if you were down. But they also meant to be able to pick you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That will buy us time, but we must move swiftly. While the enemy control Aurora, the odds are not in our favor.
One game I did like the AIs on was Rainbow Six 2.
I will say this in general.
Vegas 2.
Lose. You must be trying to use the device.
The AIs on that were pretty good actually, the ones that followed you around.
In this, the AI is shit. I will straight up call these 2 idiots shit. And I'll call them what they are.
Yep.
They're terrible. They are rubbish. And now that I don't have a Thunder Hammer, I'm taking the Power Sword. But, because, straight up, these 2 idiots right? When you have an objective where you've got to like defend something and stop it being destroyed, and there's a bunch of enemies on it attacking it, they won't shoot the enemies that are on the thing. So you've got to manually do it yourself. Oh,
This is something that we spoke about
it's that asshole.
before D&D, but not me. Not on one of these podcasts. Is
What?
game franchises that we like but have disappeared, and in particular,
Well,
Time Splitters.
Time Splitters, yep. That is a franchise that needs a new game.
Absolutely fantastic game with great artwork.
Don't mind me.
One
I'm
and
just
two
committing a. Oh wait, I'm not committing a war crime yet. I'm just desecrating a game, a grave.
Well, are they? Is it a grave of your people?
Yes,
Oh, well, okay, then he's desecrating.
it's a human grave. Hello there. Today we have a power sword, and you are an asshole. Ah, flamethrower. I hate flamers.
Right. Did you teleport backwards slightly, or was that you?
No, I jumped backwards. I did that to jump back.
We just
Oh,
thought it did a weird
wait.
rubber banding thing. But yeah, no. So Time Splitters was an epic game.
That was loud.
And I mean that properly. Each episode in the game took you to a different era.
The main
in
character
a
totally did not
timeline.
look like Vin Diesel before Vin Diesel was actually popular.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that the most fun of it all was when you could play as a monkey that threw bricks through windows at some point. It was
It was just good. It was just fun. Like the game modes they had, even the challenge modes. You remember the challenge modes they had?
Yeah.
The challenge modes were just so fun. Like the one like even the like modifiers you could put in a game, like the one where the more kills you get, the bigger you get. So like the person that was winning just was this super huge ass person that's like super big, but they have the same health as everyone else, and it's just that they've got barely any. It was just like the shit that you could do in that game was so good because it was just a game that was all fun.
Some fun. You went around finding little Game Boy games to play and collect.
Yeah.
That was cool. I mean, they weren't Game Boy games. I mean, they were like,
Mini games.
that iPod game, yeah, little mini games. But they were all of that ilk, and they were all fully there. I mean, they weren't just like, oh, this is a quick level for you to play on. You could keep playing until a proper game completion.
That
because there was multiple
looks like an
levels.
Imperator Titan.
Good luck.
Oh no, it's dead. If it wasn't dead, that mountain would be walking towards us right now.
Or away from you, it depends.
Probably, yeah. But that is a dead Titan. It's huge. To put it in perspective, an Imperator Titan is the biggest Titan, and a race in this game called the Tau. One of the stories that I remember reading about the Tau is that they killed one of those things of a traitor legion called the Emperor's Children, who worship Slaanesh, right?
Yeah.
They killed one and thought they'd actually killed Slaanesh. And the first time they ever encountered the Imperium bringing a Imperator Titan, or like a Titan, not even an Imperator, just a Warhound, I think it was, to the battlefield, they were basically going, what is the point? Because they don't see the reasoning for wasting so many resources on building something that big.
Yeah.
Whereas because humanity has such a large empire, humanity's like, oh, we could build these things, but I don't think they can. I think it's imperators and warlords they can't rebuild. So the ones they have are the ones they have. They are like sacred relics. So because the Mechanicus is basically the tech priest people, and for an example of what the Mechanicus are like. They follow the manuals for how to start something, but those manuals have been rewritten so many times over the years that they're now like religious tests where it's like you've got to sprinkle the oils and do this before the machine spirit awakens and stuff. And because they believe it so much, done it so much that they have machines that have spirits A lot of the time, the machine spirit is actually because the machine has a brain in it or something.
Yeah.
Basically, because they won't use AI, so their like war machines are usually lobotomized humans. That's what a servitor is. It's a human that failed and got lobotomized.
But what's interesting then would be
And
if,
turned into like a half machine.
well, no, but if Orc got hold of one of these books and the Titan and read it and believed it, then it would work just by magic.
Oh yeah, but well, not an orc. It has to be a lot of orcs. The way the orc psychic field works is the more orcs that believe X, the more X starts to become true. Basically, it's not one orc believes it, it's more. But they're except for their low level, because they're all low orcs. Basically, are all psychic. That's actually how orcs work. They're entirely a psychic race. It's just that they don't realize they're psychic because they're too stupid to realize they're psychic. Basically, but it's why they call the ones that do develop actual psychic powers. They call them weird boys. Catch them by the throat. Reminds me of that what the orc did to you then.
I'd say I'm going to be a purple one.
All sneaky like.
Mages.
Well, here's the thing: orcs gods are Gork and Mork. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gork is brutal but cunning, and Mork is cunning but brutal. Or is it the other way around? Because even they don't know. They don't know which way around it is for which god. That their god, one of their gods is cunning but brutal, the other one is brutal but cunning. They're literally the same thing.
I'm going to create my own god called Cork, and he's going to be brutally cunning. Be beautiful and wide.
Well, orcs, when they reach a certain... So the way orcs actually work is that when they reach a certain tech level... So when there are a certain amount of orcs... the way the orcs, like, technology bit works is... So, orcs on a planet on their own, yeah? Right?
Yep.
Probably will never develop mech boys or technology and stuff if they're on their own on a planet, like just a bunch of feral orcs. But the minute they encounter, say, the Imperium and, say, steal a tank... Right?
Yeah.
The orcs, like genetic code and
This is not the site of the Mechanicus macro weapon.
you know, what's it called? The minute they're like, they can't like say steal a tank, mech boys start appearing, which are orcs that have technological know-how. Because the way orc genetics works is that their knowledge that an orc has is inbuilt into the genetic code of them.
Okay.
Because they were genetically engineered by a race called the Old Ones that created the Orcs, the Eldar, and then another race. But they didn't create the Orcs, they created the Kroorks, who are the Orcs' ancestors. The Orcs are the perfect warriors. The Kroorks were essentially smart as Eldar, but as powerful and tougher, more powerful and tougher than Orcs, basically. The problem is that the
I'll be one of them.
But the way the Kroorks' genetics work is the way the Orcs ones work, where they developed and evolved to fit what they need to do. And because the orcs are warriors by nature and were, warfare, that's what they enjoy. The Kroorks were bred for. They realised they didn't need the smarts. The smarts basically bred itself out of them. It evolved its way out of them, essentially, to make them dumber. Because why would they need to think when they have numbers on their side, if that makes sense? They have numbers. They could overwhelm people because they could build an army in like a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because of that, they started getting dumber, and because they got dumber, they're not exactly dumb. It's because the more orcs there are, the more scary they are. But also,
Identify yourself.
So surely that would mean the opposite then. That the less orcs there are, the smarter they are.
no. Orcs is inherently stupid now because their evolution basically went them through the path of we don't need our brains, we've got numbers.
I get that.
Hello there, I hit you with a melter gun. That's an anti-tank rifle, so fuck you and I'm ripping your head off. Oh god. Ripping this guy's head off. But yeah, so when orcs encounter technology, they start developing. You know, mech boys just naturally occur in the population. Like, that's what happens. Mech boys aren't like, oh, we have to learn all this technology stuff. They straight up are born with the knowledge on how to build trucks and build tanks and stuff. Like, straight up, it's just inbuilt in their DNA.
Yeah.
It's because their low-level psychic field realizes we've encountered technology. Oh crap! That is 2 Terminators. Come on, killing the Terminator. But yeah, so and then when they encounter other things, they meet certain situations. Their society starts developing people, so they see humans riding wild animals. Their society, like certain squigs start getting bred. It's just like their society adapts to what they're fighting and stuff, and it's really funny just to watch it all, like, technology. Because it's like, they're not even doing it consciously, it's just a subconscious thing. The problem is that if enough of them do start, is that we have Gazgul, who is basically like the leader of the orcs. Well, not leader of the orcs themselves, but like the leader of, you know, like, he's the biggest war boss in 40k, whose full name is Mag-Uruk Thaka. Thraka, basically. And I think I've told you this before. You can guess what that's a reference to, who that's a reference to.
Yeah, I think I remember an Iron Lady with that similar name.
Yeah. it's one of those things that a lot of people do not get with 40k. Like, people have made the game their whole personality, which is a bit stupid, right? Yeah, like, they've made it their personality. This is the only thing that exists. But I have noticed a lot of people that do that are American. Really weird. But as you pointed out to me before, it's because, like, a lot of those people that they found that store that they've been going to since kids, and that's basically all they've got. That's their thing that they use to escape. Because we've discussed, like, not on the show, but we've discussed how different stuff is in, like, the US to it is in the UK.
Yeah.
You are dead.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Yeah. Like, especially with policies and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, but it's one of those things. But yeah, in regards to all of it,
They can't help it.
they can't. But
They can't help themselves.
But it's just funny when they make it their personal. They think the Imperium of Man is the good guy. I will say this: the reason I love 40k is it is a universe where nobody is the good guy. Like, every faction is just shades of it's like different shades of grey and stuff. Because it's not meant to be that there's a good guy and there's a bad guy. It's straight up.
No.
This universe is horrible. This is the only thing that exists is war. Everyone is a bad guy. It's the thing I like about the 41st Millennium, because I love the lore. The heresy lore is amazing. The heresy lore is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm finding it all very intriguing. Like I said, I watched that video and there was about these coffin bearer things. I was like, that is
Coffin bearers that basically power the ships and shit. I know, it's... Open the door. Oh, we got microbes. Yeah. We apparently have someone that's viewing the stream. I welcome whoever is viewing the stream. It's probably your wife again.
Probably.
Yeah, but like 40k is a universe that I will admit I don't know everything about it. I know, which is why I'm like giving you, like, you know, the simple explanations to shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going for things that you, like, you know, you can explain to anyone, if that makes sense. Not the stuff like that's like truly in depth stuff, like you know, like how the Primarchs work and who the Primarchs are, if you know what I mean. Like, just the basic shit of, like, there are Space Marines, there are Chaos Space Marines, there are Tyranids, which is one of those aliens that I was fighting before, which is the army I collect and my favourite army. I still want seeing the animations for them in this game though has made me want them to remake Dawn of War 1 and with like up-to-date graphics and everything, because I would love to. Oh, I've already got a melter rifle. I'd love to see it like that game updated with like modern graphics and everything. But yeah, as I was saying, like the only issue I have with 40k isn't like 40k itself. I only issue I have is the fact is sometimes some parts of the fan base piss me off. Some parts don't, some parts do. The parts that do are the parts that just have made this, like, they treat this game like they either, one, they own it, or two, they treat the game like it's their whole personality. It's the only thing that exists. It's
And
like,
any kind of deviation from that is a direct attack on them.
yeah, and I'm like, sweetheart, the game's not, you don't own this, GW does. I'm like, the funny thing is that their favourite insult to people, right? This is how silly they are, by the way, Jax. Their favourite insult to people that disagree with them, the people that are like this, yeah. Their favourite insult is literally they call you a tourist. You know, like you've just visiting.
I like it.
And I'm like, I've been playing this game since like 3rd edition. I've been playing it since 3rd edition. I ain't no tourist. I've been here since like back when I've been here like long before when Tyranids had fucking I've actually been playing the 3rd edition. I was playing this back like the edition playing this when Tyranids used to have slaves and weren't this all-devouring swarm. Because Tyranids didn't start as an all-devouring swarm. They started as sending these race called the Zotes in like the original lore through to the Milky Way, that were their emissaries as like trying to do diplomacy with people, and then they got murdered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for by xenophobic humans, and it's like, and it's just like one of those things that just always made me laugh. It's like that's how Zotes originally were in the game, and it's kind of funny because they were originally just Tyranid fucking bioforms. As these are our slaves because we take slaves and captives and shit. We're not this all-devouring hive mind anymore yet. And then as they've gone through the lore, the Tyranids have changed from that to being a hive mind, to being this all-devouring swarm. It's basically kind of.
Some of the bits I just find some of it so funny compared to the other D&D. With the things like how the Orcs, they believe something enough.
Oh yeah, and if folks believe something, it can become true. So there's a funny story that actually showcases how thingy that is. So Imperial Guard fighting the Orcs. Imperial Guard runs out of ammo. Yeah. They started making finger guns at the Orcs, and it was working because the Orcs believed they had guns.
I was going to say this. Yeah.
I'm going to now just do this. Yeah. Rip this guy's head off.
Yeah, so I was actually that's one of the other stories I heard about.
Yeah.
Its ruins are vast. What interest could the Mars adepts have in old stone? We know not what secrets this old stone holds.
I do, because this is all what these are.
Yeah.
This stone looks like black stone.
This is the game we play
Yeah.
every 4th week. So I can't wait to see how this plays out.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm using it because it's to give you guys like a little intro to the 41st millennium, and it's also a way of giving you an intro to it without going, here's all this, here's a massive lore dump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to learn about 2 characters who are two of my favourite Necron characters, who I absolutely love the book, which is why it inspired me to make this, to do this little campaign. By the way, was the book, a book called the Infinite and Divine. The one that I sent you that meme of, that I'm not exaggerating, everything in this meme happens in the book. It isn't a joke, everything in that meme does happen in the book. It's not even an exaggeration, it's just that hilarious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's a book that takes place, technically, because they're Necrons. Necrons are robots. Essentially, they're robots with souls. Well, they had souls, they don't have them anymore, yeah? Because they used to be a living race, and they encountered a race called the Old Ones. The Old Ones being the race that created the Eldar, the Orcs, and then the 3rd race. The reason they created those races was to fight the Necrons.
This seems like a bad idea.
What I'm doing all that. So it's because the old ones were immortal. They were going around the galaxy, just seeding the galaxy with life. Think of them as like the progenitors of the galaxy, if you think about it.
Yeah.
They're going around just seeding life. They're just being happy. No worries, shit. No worries. And then the Necrons, who lived on a planet that was their homeworld was around a really highly radioactive sun. You know, if you know what I mean.
You know nothing of
Yeah.
brotherhood.
Like-
Yes, I could
Tricks.
Like a radioactive sun. So they were like dying from radiation poison. So they had such short-lived lives and everything. Yeah. And the old ones were immortal. And the Necrons wanted the immortality of the old ones, essentially. So they were begging them for it. They was actually fully trying to get it peaceful, like begging for them, just have it, like. But the old ones wouldn't give it up because the old ones basically didn't see the point. Because what are you going to achieve? You've achieved so much without it. Because the Necron technology had gotten so advanced without immortality, because they'd strived, because their short-lived lives, they'd worked so hard to, achieve a civilization capable of spaceflight and stuff, and colonize some worlds.
To do stuff if you did have that to drive for.
I'm digging this. Wait.
This will serve me well.
But yeah, they basically, it was like that, you know what I mean? And it's like cool. It's like, all this cool shenanigans and stuff. But like, it's just one of those things. The Necrons started a war with the old ones. The old ones were content to basically let the Necrons live. They were winning the war against them, and they pushed them back to their homeworld basically, and went, nope, not going to bother. But the Necrons then found a star that was being eaten, and they're wondering why it was dying, and found a thing called a Catan, which was basically a star god in their word. That's what Catan means in their word, in their language. Basically this energy being that doesn't have a corporeal form and is eating a star. So the one they found, I can't remember the Necron word, but lately the Gothic translation, or English translation as it is, of his name is the Deceiver. If that tells you what this bastard did to them. Yeah, totally trustworthy. But that's what they That's what I think. That's the name they gave him after what happened.
Yeah. Well, if it's the name they gave him beforehand, I think it might be their fault.
Oh yeah, but it was basically what had happened was he basically said, "Oh, we make us these bodies." So Necrons were basically made things out of what they call living metal. Metal that could self-regenerate and stuff, like straight up think of it as metal that's basically like infused with nanomachines inside the metal itself.
Yeah.
So it self-repairs and stuff. And they made bodies for this thing so that they could speak to it properly, and it spoke of a way for them to essentially obtain the immortality that they wanted. What they didn't realize is that the Silent King, who there's their leader, realized all too late is that when the Catan were doing this, when they went through the processes of becoming what they're called from Necron tier to Necrons, the Catan were feeding off their souls and eating their souls as they went through the biotransference. Yeah. So hence the Deceiver. Because most Necrons are programming engrams of their old personality, but they don't have their souls anymore. So it's like the lowest form of Necron, a warrior, has no autonomy. It's just basically a subset of like basic command protocols and doesn't remember much of anything of their old life. But the higher tier a Necron gets, the more of their life they remember. They originally started before, I think even I remember this. They started as space terminators. That's all they were originally. They wanted the eradication of all life. That was it. And that was before all the stuff I just told you. That was before they had the law they have now. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah, they retconned it in 4th edition to give them to make them space Egyptians. Because their highest rank on a planet is called who controls the dynasty is a Pharaoh, aka Pharaoh.
Pharaoh, yeah.
Yeah, they're all about that's what they're like. They're kind of like Egyptians now, but it's I absolutely adore the way that they've done them now. They're they are absolutely cool. They are just cool, badass, like it's space Egyptians, like Egyptian robots from space that are, you know, like super, you know, like they have infighting amongst themselves and shit now. But like the without spoiling like the actual book, other than that meme, right? The Infinite Divine takes place over like thousands of years. It takes place from when the Imperium was still like pre-Imperium, if you know what I mean, to like I think post-Heresy era Imperium, just to, you know, up to like, you know, the modern time, the current time in the 41st millennium and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, and because of that,
It'd be interesting to know what came first,
what?
fourth edition or the popularity of Stargate SG-1.
What came? What? Sorry. What? Stargate SG-1 or what?
The Egyptian stuff. What came first? The Egyptian stuff in season 4, whatever. The
There's no damnation, judgment of
generation 4 of the law book.
Have faith, brother.
Or
Well, I
Stargate,
know
or
third
popularity of
edition. I
Stargate
got into
one.
third edition, and that was back in the 90s. So and third edition was just me finishing primary school. So about I was 3.5 was I think 1999 to early 2000s. And then
Okay.
fourth edition was was early 2000s onwards for a bit.
Yeah, so Stargate would have been out and about then when they added the
Oh yeah,
Egyptian element.
but I think the
Just-
Egyptian element was probably because it was because in their fantasy universe they had a race called the Tomb Kings, who were undead Egyptians essentially. And essentially Necrons are the 40k equivalent, because the way the 40k factions are is they're essentially the Warhammer fantasy factions. They're all like an equivalent to a fantasy faction, basically. So like the Eldar are space elves, aka Vulcans, because you can't tell me Vulcans are not space elves.
Um,
But if you get what I mean, like they're all an equivalent. Like the Eldar are space elves, Drukhari are dark elves, and so there's no wood elf. The Exodites are wood elves, but they don't have an actual like army book or models that you can buy. You know what I mean? They're a background army that's in the lore, but not like on the field. Squats are dwarves.
Okay.
The Imperial Guard is just like, you know, the standard human faction. The Space Marines are essentially humanity's super soldiers. You know, because every sci-fi setting needs a super soldier, doesn't it? Really. So, because Halo has the Spartan program. Doom now has Doom Guy, because you can't tell me he's not a fucking super soldier at this point. You know, like pretty much most sci-fi just has like a super soldier program, don't they, in it? Or something that's equivalent, like some sort of armor that makes you a super soldier. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah,
Munitions secured.
it's one of those things.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, it's one of those things in regards to it. It's just like,
How deep do these tunnels go?
like orcs are the orcs from fantasy, because they're because you know the Warcraft orcs from Warcraft that everyone loves from Warcraft. Did you know that Warcraft was the one that started as a Warhammer fantasy battle game? That's why all the designs in Warcraft match the designs in Warhammer. The orcs from Warcraft are basically the orcs from Warhammer, but smarter.
Oh yeah, no, yes, yeah. I kind of, yeah, I did. Yes, I did know that. Well, I thought it was D&D, but yeah, I explained it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because Blizzard is massive Warhammer nerd. It's why StarCraft has some elements in it that reference Warhammer 40k. The Terran armor, like, is basically Space Marines armor and stuff. But you know, like, without a super soldier. I actually will admit, as much as StarCraft did basically steal a lot of its shit from, you know, Warhammer 40k, kind of. I think it's a good homage to Warhammer 40k personally. You know what I mean? Because it's got the the Zerg are basically Tyranids, but on a little bit on steroids, because Zerg are fucking weird. But it's one of those things in like 40k is inspired a bunch of universe, but 40k does steal a lot of shit. Like a navigator, the way they get through the warp, like the way they navigate through the warp. You're a fan of Dune, aren't you, Jax?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically stolen from Dune. So is the Mechanicum. The whole human computer thing is stolen from Dune. Because everyone forgets Dune has that massive AI war that happened before the books even started.
Well,
But yeah, it's one of those things in regards to everything that happens in it. 40k is very much takes its thing from other sci-fi universes. It will never not say it isn't. The Tyranids are straight up straight up like the Arachnids from Starship Troopers now. But you can tell from their designs, a certain Swedish artist may or may not have inspired the more modern designs of Tyranids. And a certain sci-fi movie that I think both of us are fans of the franchise, may or may not have also inspired the design of modern Tyranids and stuff. If you know which movie I'm on about, Jax.
I assume you're talking about Alien.
Yep. Because there's current Tyranid design has very much got Xenomorph vibes in the way they are. Oh god, there are 3 Terminators in that fucking bit in that thing. I am so glad I brought this last fusel. Ow. Oh god, they're trying to kill me. They don't have, oh god, these are fucking Terminators without... Oh god, that's a scabical Terminator with a melee weapon. They're actually trying to kill me in melee, these ones. That's actually scary. I'm going to get... Oh god.
Well,
Okay. Anyway, I think before we go today, because we're going to end the stream.
Yeah.
Stream now. We're going to end it. As per normal, I'm going to end it where I just ripped that dude's head off. But before we go, we have an announcement. We are not. They're in the link now. We do have the Patreon to the thing. We do have a Patreon. Don't ask. It's just there because if you want to help out, that's entirely all it's there for. What we won't have an episode for 3 weeks. Reason why I won't be here in 2 weeks' time. So we're gonna next episode will be in 3 weeks' time, at the first week of October, as well.
Yeah.
So we are not going to be available for a bit. Well,
but you have loads of videos to listen to us just ramble on.
yeah, randomly random on. In regards to it, we're going to end the stream now. In regards to everything to say, I'm going to say goodbye and